What's up, guys? Welcome back to Basketball Podcast.
You're watching a Pass the Ball podcast presentation. Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in our program.
What do you do as a coach to help your kids stay mentally tough, whether on the field or in a cage during a private lesson?
On the field, I'm not on the field too much anymore. I haven't coached on the field since 2020. I did coach from, early on. Like I said earlier, the high school teams, and then I did have the travel teams. But I haven't been on a field in a long time. In a cage, I try to make the practice sessions as difficult as I can without making it miserable. There still has to be some element of fun. There still has to be some element of positivity. But at the same time, doing things that are more difficult. I'll have, curveball, changeup, fastball rounds where I don't tell the kids what's coming. I'll do vision mechanics stuff where it's like two seam, four seam. Don't swing at this one, swing at this one. I'll put players in a little bit more awkward positions hitting, just so they can kind of learn to move and do things that are a little bit different. Because the number one thing, especially in the batter's box, is being able to be adjustable. You have to adjust to different pitches. You have to be able to adjust to how they're pitching you, that kind of stuff. And so in the cage, kind of pushing the limits mentally, and then physically also to a point. But then you also have to give a good amount of positive feedback. Okay. I also want my guys and my girls to be confident. And if we're just making it super hard all the time, then it's hard to build that confidence. So finding a happy medium between making practice harder than the game and staying positive.
Did you have a person or coach that you could talk to who would help you work through your struggles?
My mother was fantastic, man. She had played softball her entire life before softball was even a big deal. So my mom was always that person. My parents never pushed. Like they weren't the parents that were like, oh, we got to go do this. They left it up to me, but they also knew that I loved it. I never had to be asked to go practice or anything. So she was there for as mental coach, physical coach, pretty much everything. I had a really good high school assistant coach. And he was actually, whenever I told y'all that my high school coach called me, he called me and asked if I wanted a job. And then he was actually in my wedding. So me and him had a really, really good relationship, and I could talk to him about it. He understood. He played the same position. I was a middle infielder. He had been a middle infielder in his career. Kind of the same personality. I'm a really highly competitive person, almost to a fault sometimes. So teaching me how to control that and use it in different ways. And one of the things was to take my energy and try to be infectious to my teammates. So instead of me getting super, super excited and doing my own thing, it was rally the guys. If I was upset, it wasn't go in and throw a helmet and chunk a bat. It was get behind the next guy, right? Get behind that guy. So taking that negative energy that I had built up and turning it into a positive for my other teammates.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, my mom and my dad, like, I actually had to get taken out of sports because, like, my mental game was bad. And coming back, like, my parents have held me accountable and, like, walked me through how to, like, fix it and stuff. So, like, I agree with you. And, like, also Caleb's dad, he helped me get through it.
Were you just super, super competitive, or were you just really, really like, you had expectations that were unreasonable, and so when you didn't succeed, you felt like a failure? Or was it just,
Expectations. It was
do what?
expectations.
Oh, expectations. Okay. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things, especially for young buck and social media, is y'all see all of these highlights. You see all of this great stuff going on. You don't see the errors the big leaguers make. You don't hear about those guys. Like, did y'all even know that Shohei Ohtani went 0 for 21 at one point? He went 0 for 21 this year. Like, it happens. And that stuff isn't shown to y'all. Y'all have social media, you have TV that only show the highlights and they show the good parts of it. That doesn't show all the negative that everybody goes through. There was who were they playing in the Astros game last night? Pitcher has a ball like that he picks up and he airmails it over the second baseman into left center field, and it looked like a little league game. Like base runners just going everywhere. And so those things happen to the best in the world. And so setting proper expectations for young people is extremely important. And I think in some cases, and I'm not speaking on your parents may both be baseball and softball people. But a lot of the times there's young men and young ladies who are playing softball and baseball whose parents never played. And so they have no idea how hard it really is. And so they also see, oh, this other kid over here doing this. Oh, this other kid over here doing this. That's what everybody should be doing. When in reality, you got to learn to play the game.
All right. Is there something that you do or say when you recognize a kid that is mentally struggling?
Um, I don't really know that there's one thing that I would do or say. Again, I think it goes back, to understanding your players. For the most part, breathing can alleviate a lot of things. Learning to breathe, learning to control your breathing. There's something that actually my mom taught me. It's called box breathing. And it's a way to kind of recenter yourself and calm yourself down. I think a lot of times, like athletes take it for granted. Like, of course I'm breathing. I have to breathe to live. And there's a difference between just us normally breathing and then really focused breathing. For some, it just takes a step back. Hey man, take a break for a second. For some, it takes like a change in the brain. Hey, we're totally gonna switch what we're doing. If right now we're hitting curveballs and you're really struggling, hey, we're gonna go back. I'm gonna come up there. I'm gonna do front toss for a little bit, and you're just gonna get your confidence back. So it's all individual, understanding the player, but for the most part, learning to relax and then understanding what the goal is. Right? I had a girl, one of my softball players, and she popped up a lot this weekend. And so when she came into the cage, I said, all right, we're not going to think about a bunch of mechanics. We're just going to try to do the opposite of what the problem was. The problem was pop-ups, so we're going to try not to hit pop-ups. Okay, and so we're going along, and she's doing good, and then she like tops this ground ball. She didn't hit it very good, but tops it, and and I can see her frustration. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. What is the goal right now? And then she sat back, she said, not to hit pop-ups. I said, right. I was like, was that a pop-up? No, sir. I said, then you've done what you're trying to do. And so understanding and making the task different than just, oh, I got to get a hit all the time. Oh, it has to be a line drive all the time. Having you guys and girls understand that it's a process and there is a lot more ways to be successful in the batter's box for your team than just getting a hit.
If you could go back and talk to your 12-year-old self as a student athlete, what advice would you give to yourself?
Without question, get stronger. Without question. And, when I say that, people are like, oh, well, they shouldn't be lifting weights and doing this and doing this. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Go out and do some push-ups and do some sit-ups and play in your neighborhood, run around, those types of things. Do a pull-up, all right? Go see if you can do 2 pull-ups. jump rope, like those types of things. Just become a better athlete. Um, we didn't have all this information when I was growing up, right? We didn't have social media. We didn't have these, a trainer around every corner and everything else. And that was the number one thing. I waited until I was like a sophomore in high school to really get serious about being a better athlete. Um, and not to say that it was too late, but if I would have started at 12 or 13, it would have made life a lot easier.
Is there anything you would like to ask us?
Man, yeah, actually, I always like this part of this. So, since you've been doing this podcast and getting out and talk, you've talked to some pretty legit people, like the stuff that y'all got to do at the Little League World Series and whatnot. So, who's your favorite, I guess, guest or conversation? Who was the most fun to be? Like, who was it?
So for me, I had to go with Jazz Chisholm. So
Yeah, I figured you were gonna say it. I wasn't gonna bring it up, and so people could hear you say it. Tell me about interviewing Jazz, man.
at this time, like he was injured, so he didn't play in the Little League, Big League Classic. So like, so one of my teammates that played for me, he was a huge fan of Jazz Chisholm, and so we were like, so the Yankees came out of their plane. I was like, Jazz Chisholm, this kid right there is your biggest fan. So Jazz Chisholm, he sat next to us. He like talked to us, and like my dad was like, we should interview him since like he's right there. Let's just do it. So I did it, and it was amazing.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. He's such a good dude.
For me, it's always cool interviewing him because like it's different conversations with someone you know versus someone like you don't know. So interviewing him is always cool.
Yeah. How long have y'all been buddies?
Uh,
2 years.
2 years.
Years. Nice. Where do y'all play next? Are you playing? You say you're playing fall ball right now?
Playing club ball.
Club ball.
Club ball?
I actually, so we're on different teams, and I actually play him later tonight.
Oh, today y'all play each other?
Yeah,
Yeah,
We need to get. Do y'all happen to pitch? Do one of y'all pitch?
he
probably gonna
might.
pitch.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, if you pitch and you hit, I want video of that.
Yep. Florida.
I'll post that up for you. Are you gonna sort him? You gonna sort him?
I'm gonna hit 450. Bah!
Oh man, here he goes. The back and forth. Yeah. So what do y'all got planned for more guests on here? Y'all talk to anybody else?
Uh, we're not sure yet.
Yeah, yeah, no.
No. Does your mom and dad normally reach out to people like that y'all are interested in, or do y'all say, "Hey, man, I want that guy or girl"?
We
Yeah, we
do.
do.
Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Well, if you ever need suggestions for people to come on, let me know. At this point, especially with online, I know softball and baseball coaches from around the country, the world at this point, but the country for sure. And I know some guys that would be really good and would enjoy coming on and chopping it up with y'all.
And I appreciate you for
Yeah,
that.
thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, if there's anything y'all ever need, hit me up. Let your parents know. So let your buddies know. All of that.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good day.
All right,
You too.
that's all, and this is Passable Podcast.